since we've done some cool things with shoes in the past, like, you know, put them on the ceiling, make proto putty bottoms, and bouncy ball bottoms. So, you know, today we're going to upgrade our boots and make glue shoes, because we made some glue gloves in the past, and now
you guys seem to like the glue gloves.
Yeah, so now it's time to upgrade to some glue shoes. So we have some glue sticks, some shoe goo, which I've never heard of. This was your suggestion to give a try.
I have heard of someone entirely resoling a pair of shoes using nothing but shoe goo. So apparently it's quite tough. We'll put some of that to the test.
And then of course our good friend Elmer's glue. Have to give it a go. All right, so my shoes are saran wrap. We're gonna stick them in this glue, and then we're actually gonna hang them to dry on some hooks that are actually behind Mark right now.
I am going to trace out the shape of the boot print, so I have like the size. Then looking at this one, I'm not going to copy this whole design because that's fancier than I need.
It's a lot.
But I'm just going to go for the basic idea of the heel and then the front. I'm going to be cutting up pieces of the glue sticks, putting them down, gluing them all together to sort of make this sole, and then I'll try and build up from there. Some of it I'm definitely going to be making up as I go because I've never tried this before, and probably neither has anyone else. So we'll see how it goes. I think there's a decent chance of it working. I don't think it's going to be the most durable shoe in the world.
So Nate has done this video idea before with the glue glove. And so the problem that they ran into with the Elmer's glue was they didn't let it set up long enough in between layers. So this guy's going to be here for a minute. Okay. So with the shoe goo, we're gonna put it on the bottom of this sole of this boot, and then we're not gonna put it on the bottom of this boot, and we're gonna see just how durable it really is, I guess, scraping against concrete and stuff.
I glued all the pieces down, and I'm now, which barely works because this is parchment paper, so like I can glue something on, I'll show you in a second how easily that comes off. But what I'm now doing is I'm going in and I'm filling all of the gaps, because this right here is actually the very bottom surface. So I'm going to fill in all the gaps, so I have these sheets, and then I'll flip that over, and then that will be where I can actually start building on to the sole.
The shoe goo says it takes like 24 hours to 48 to 72 hours to fully like set and cure. So these guys are gonna have to like hang out like this for a while before we get them on the ground and tested. Oh, you got like little slippers. All right, well that layer's drying. I'm gonna go make a cup of coffee. Today's video is sponsored by Cometeer. So this glue shoe is going to be time consuming, and I don't have time to go to the coffee shop, which is why I love using Cometeer. Cometeer is a barista quality coffee that's flash frozen to lock in flavor and freshness, and it's the first 100% recyclable capsule. You guys know that we love liquid nitrogen around here, and that's part of what makes this product so cool. They actually flash freeze each capsule by dunking it in liquid nitrogen immediately after it's brewed. That quick flash freezing process immediately locks in the coffee flavor, and that flavor is always amazing because Cometeer partners with the best regional specialty coffee roasters. What I love is that you can make their coffee hot or cold. To make hot coffee, you empty the frozen capsule content into the empty glass, add 8 ounces of hot water on top to melt and stir. To make an iced latte at home, just fill the glass with 6 ounces of milk and ice, pour the melted capsule on top, and give it a mix. This creates the most beautiful swirl effect, and it's pretty much Instagram worthy. For the first time, I'm able to make delicious iced coffee and lattes from home in minutes with no equipment. I can take Cometeer on the go with me and melt a great cup of coffee anywhere. Right now, you can get $20 off your purchase by clicking the link below. That's 10 free capsules of coffee and free shipping as always. So now that I'm caffeinated and happy again, let's go back downstairs and see how Nate's going with his boots.
In theory, I could keep building those up and make them into more of shoes, but we're out of glue sticks, and I kind of like this right here. We've got sort of this this work boot sandal thing. Yeah, slipper work boot thing going on.
Work boot slipper sandal.
Yeah. And you know what? I'll be darned if these are not the finest hot glue work boot sandals that anyone has ever made. Oh, one of them doesn't stay on very well. good grip actually.
So the difference between Nate and I's shoes is that he used a hot glue and I'm using Elmer's glue, which is water-based, and his hot glue is not water-based. So basically, these shoes weren't drying, the layers were falling off as I was hanging them. I mean, there's just glue everywhere on the floor over here. So we're using heat in a bowl, and we actually have some glue in the oven over there. So we're heating up the glue in the bowl and getting it to a better curing phase so that it's more tacky and grippy. And then we're putting it on the shoe to create some thicker layers. So that's where we're at, that's where we're going with, and it's kind of satisfying watching the glue move around in the bowl, but you know, it's messy. So a few things I've learned from the Elmer's glue shoe. If I were to go back and do it differently, I would lay about 4 or 5 of these sheets out and just lay glue over it to make these really, really strong, durable sheets of Elmer's glue, and then put them around the shoe with layers in between to hold the layers together. That is not what we did to start out with. We just went with like glooping the glue onto the shoes. So now they're over here in the dehydrator where they've been baking for like 2 days. So basically what happened is in between these layers I didn't wait long enough. Very similar to the glue glove, but they're like a little liquidy in the center. Like it feels like there's little pockets of stuff. So we're drying them out in here, which is like what we were doing with the giant bowls. Basically, we were drying the glue all the way and making all the water evaporate out so that we would have just a gluey mixture. But, you know, it needed a little bit more drying time. So while those are drying, and before we test those, let's go ahead and test out our shoe goo shoes because those guys are ready for testing. Okay, so first thing I noticed is this one does feel like it has some extra padding. This one feels like I can feel more of the ground through like the ball of my foot. Duh, because there's goo repair stuff on the bottom of this one. Grip wise, I actually feel like I have more grip on the glue shoe one compared to this guy. I don't know, is there any wear and tear when I do that? So there's a little wear and tear from me doing the spinny thing. There's a little hole in the goo shoe. That's where a bubble could have been or something. I would resole my shoes with this. That would be so cool if you had clear bottom soles of shoes. And you could wear like cool socks and people could see your socks. I think that could be kind of fun. So the ones that did not have goo shoe, this is like worn completely flat now. But down here it had untouched tread, so like we can see the difference. Now if we look at the goo shoe, it all is pretty much that same layer. It's just a little dirty. There's a little bit of wear and tear, but this is a really good option, I would say, if you're trying to keep the integrity of the sole of your shoe. Put this on and then you can take it off and put another layer of goo shoe on after, but still have good tread underneath. So, I don't know, something to consider. Do I think it's an improvement? I wouldn't go that far, but I still think it is something that's really cool. Go goo shoe. This glue shoe has taken a lot longer than anticipated. It sat in the dehydrator for literally 24 hours. And while it was in there, I actually created these layers of glue that we had talked about that were incredibly strong and durable. And I have put those on the bottom to act as the sole. So from like here to here, we have extra layers. And now it's time to get the shoe out of here and see if we actually have something. I feel like this is more of a glue sock than a glue shoe. Yes, high fashion. I could see these like being a pair of Yeezys. Aha! There it is! A glue shoe! That's so crazy. Let's see if I can get some of the saran wrap out. There it is. I mean, it's a little gluey, like down here, where like you can see the glue. Oh, it's free. This one came out with the saran wrap. Nice. There it is. I have 2 glue shoes. And now it's time to put them to the test against Nate's hot glue shoes for a hike. nature.
The part of my shoes that I gave tread, like on the heel and the ball of my foot area, that's super sturdy, but I am worried that I'm gonna step like on this part and it might be too thin. Now even that part is probably way more robust than yours, but I just think that's the thin part of my shoe gonna be where there's a failure, if there's a failure. I'm gonna go step on some more spiky things though.
They're hopeless. They hurt my ankles because the glue's really sharp right there. I should have filed it down or something, and I think it's just a matter of time of me walking around before I see socks out the bottom of my shoes. But I have glue shoes out of Elmer's glue. Oh, well, this part hurts because it's like really sharp right here from where I cut it, and it hurts my ankle right here. And then I feel the earth and all the rocks under my feet.
Your shoes are glue with a small bit of tape and some marker, whereas mine are pure 100% hot glue. Look at this spiky little bit of log.
I decorated mine,
I can stand on so easily because it doesn't hurt my feet at all.
It's like a foot massage from nature. You want to watch me run? My ankles and Achilles hurt. I stress tested them running. They did okay. I still have a sole. You can see my big toe though.
My primary concern with climbing on rocks is not durability, but whether or not they will stay on my feet well. I kind of have to do like a curled toe run to keep them on.
Nice form. Test 2, scaling this wall. My shoes are holding up very well. Yeah. You know, I might not have traction, but I have willpower. I'm impressed. I thought I'd be out here for 5 seconds and they'd have a hole in them.
What do you think happens if they get wet?
They're done for. That's why I'm wearing socks and I refuse to touch them once I finish the shoe because I would have dissolved them with my sweaty hands.
Fantastic.
I'm impressed with the durability of these guys.
They have held up to almost 14 minutes worth of use.
I'm very proud of them.
I am not particularly worried about the shoes. I am particularly worried about the fact that this water is going to be very, very, very cold. It's nice and warm.
It's tropical.
It's so pleasant. I love it. It's really good. It's very slippery on these rocks. Oh, it's holding water. My foot's out of the water. It's still in the water because the water's in the shoe. Get out of my shoe. Get out of my shoe.
I can't get in the water because my shoe will dissolve.
You can just take some steps right there. And
It's
see
a
how they hold up.
watershed.
Take a step in it.
My foot is wet. It's already slimy. It's dissolving. It's slimy on my sock.
I was decently happy with these. Now, I did make them in maybe 2.5-ish hours or something like that. I would kind of be interested to see, like, what could I do with this? If, like, I was, you know, making sure it was the shape of my foot and actually, like, covered up. Could I have some sort of straps or lace system to make it so I could actually close them?
I think they have, like, a lot, like, you don't have a lot of wear and tear on them from us just goofing around out here and putting them through the test. Now, these, on the other hand, they took, like, 2.5 days compared to Nate's 2 hours.
If you were trying to make these again, what would you do different?
I would make thin sheets of the glue and then build them around the shoe, adding like painted on glue in the center, Elmer's glue in the center, and basically like layer a bunch of them together and like wrap them around the shoe. I think this might be the first for the internet, but I'm not really sure. Elmer's glue shoes. Should we continue our walk?
I think I'd probably get a blister after a while.
Yeah, I think so. Look at the back though, they say glue shoes. Oh yeah. You know, these might be my new house slippers.
I don't believe you.
I'm gonna put some padding in them and then some little like fluffy stuff and it's like Uggs.
Ah!